My brothers and sisters, may the Lord be with you. A reading from the Holy Gospel according to Matthew. Some of the scribes and Pharisees said to Jesus, "Teacher, we wish to see a sign from you." He said to them in reply, "An evil and unfaithful generation seeks a sign, but no sign will be given it except the sign of Jonah the prophet. Just as Jonah was in the belly of the whale 3 days and 3 nights, so will the Son of Man be in the heart of the earth 3 days and 3 nights. At the judgment, the men of Nineveh will arise with this generation and condemn it, because they repented at the preaching of Jonah, and there is something greater than Jonah here. At the judgment, the queen of the south will arise with this generation and condemn it, because she came from the ends of the earth to hear the wisdom of Solomon, and there is something greater than Solomon here." The Gospel of the Lord. The book of Exodus this morning recounts for us the very famous scene of the Israelites finally getting to the sea and the sea parting for them to come to safety. And we already begin to see what will happen over and over again in the course of their history, that their level of trust and conviction of faith constantly wavers. And so here they've been freed from Egypt. They're at a point where everything has been done. These various signs have been given to them of all the various plagues that took place in Egypt so that they could come to freedom. And even with all of that, they still continue to question and doubt. And as soon as Pharaoh and his chariots come close to them, they kind of wane in their faith, and they start complaining again to Moses that at least in Egypt, as slaves, we had something to eat. And we'll keep hearing this over and over again during the course of their desert experience. It's constant vacillation in being true to the Lord and following him wherever he might lead them. We see essentially in the gospel text this morning essentially the same message being presented to us, as the scribes and Pharisees, having seen all these various miracles that Jesus has performed and all the actions that he's taken place, they still want another sign yet. And Jesus is quick to say to them, the sign is me. It's not all these things that I'm doing. And what you are about today is much more important than all those events that took place in the past, which you take for granted. And so as Nineveh came to penance and to reconciliation with God, so in turn the people of Israel should end up doing the same thing with regard to the scribes and the Pharisees, and coming to that same kind of renewal of faith within themselves. Sometimes we too vacillate in our faith. As long as things are going well for us, there's no question marks. When something happens, all of a sudden we become very, very earnest in our faith, but it sometimes wanes very quickly. Remember back at the time of the 9/11 tragedy, for a few days there was this great earnest push for prayer and concern and care, and that quickly waned once things went back to the normalcy again. We constantly go back and forth with the level of our faith. And so as we gather here this morning, we're reminded to make that faith stronger in us, to realize that both in the days of joy and in the days of sorrow, the Lord is with us, walking the same journey with us. But we have to be assured that he will only do that to the degree that we're willing to give ourselves over to his will and his way rather than our own.